So let's get started while people are still dropping in. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you're joining us from. My name is Johanna Siliakus, and I work for the Transport Sector Office at the Asian Development Bank. And I'd like to warmly welcome all of you to this webinar where you will hear about the current status and lessons learned relating to electric vehicle deployment in Indonesia. This webinar is presented as part of the e-mobility support and investment platform for Asia and the Pacific, operated by ADB and financed by the Global Environment Facility, the GEF. And the aim of the e-mobility platform is to build capacities and to support scaling up of financing to e-mobility initiatives. And we aim to gather a community of e-mobility practitioners under this platform. So if you're listening to this webinar series and have not yet expressed your interest to join the e-mobility community, you can do so by filling in a survey that will help us further develop activities under the platform. You'll see the link to the survey or a QR code to the link of the survey on the screen now. Filling in it will take around 15 minutes of your time. And at the end of the survey, there's a possibility to state interest in joining the e-mobility community. And that way you'll receive updates on any upcoming e-mobility platform activities, such as these kinds of webinars. There's a number of webinar sessions on e-mobility lined up for the upcoming months. You can see them on this slide. So next week, you'll have a presentation on the e-mobility policy framework. Thanks, Michelle. On the e-mobility policy framework, and we'll share actually the registration link to Zoom to that session through the chat function here in a bit. And in addition, we have an online workshop with IEA lined up for the 5th and 12th of October, so next week and the following week. And this workshop consists of 2 separate sessions held on Zoom, where IEA colleagues present tools that they have developed to support EV deployment and planning. So the first session is on 5th of October, and that will present a tool for assessing the total cost of ownership of EVs. And the second one, held on 12th of October, will present the EV charging and grid integration tool of IEA. So we'll also share a link to this workshop for you to register. It's on Zoom, as I mentioned. And before introducing today's speaker, just a couple of words on house rules. To ensure a smooth webinar session, all microphones are disabled. At the end of today's session, there will be some time for questions from the audience. So please send us your questions through the Q&A function. You'll see the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So you can send us questions throughout the presentation, and we'll pick them up at the end. During the Q&A, you can also raise your hand, and the moderators will be able to bring you in that way. Please note that this webinar session is recorded, and it will be posted on the platform's website once we have it up and running. So in today's session, we will dive into the Indonesian e-mobility context. In this webinar, our speaker, Eko Ajibuwono, will present the GEF-funded e-mobility pilot in Indonesia called Enhancing Readiness for the Transition to Electric Vehicles in Indonesia, in short, ENTREV. So Eko is the National Project Manager of ENTREV. He's a technology and socio-environmental expert with over 25 years experience in high technology industries. So today, Eko will be talking about the challenges and the opportunities relating to EV deployment in Indonesia and what the ENTREV project aims to do to bridge these gaps. So Eko, we're excited to have you present in our webinar series. Let me hand over to you for the presentation. So thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Johanna. Good morning or good evening, perhaps good afternoon, on the side of the world. Let me share my screen.
And Eko, maybe you can speak a little bit up so we can hear you.
Okay, is it okay?
Better.
My voice, is it clear? Is it clear, Johanna?
It's a bit low, but I think it's clear. It's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
And we can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay. Should I start?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Thanks so much for facilitating me and to introduce our project in Indonesia. So as Johanna mentions, my name is Eko Judono from Indonesia. I'm an ENTREV National Project Manager. ENTREV is an abbreviation of Enhancing Readiness for the Transition to Electric Vehicles in Indonesia. The contents of my presentation will consist of 8 different part of discussion: Indonesia challenges, the opportunities, ENTREV in particular, the goals, the activities, and Indonesia current condition of EV ecosystems, our involvement and achievement so far by 2023, and discussion points. Challenges, Indonesia challenges. You see the map of Indonesia is very huge. It's use countries with scatter of islands all over the places. Yes, we have a significant increase in fossil fuel powered land transportation. Total 150 million motorcycle and cars by 2020, and I think it's more now by 2023. The transportation is contribute the second highest greenhouse gas emission in any sector. EV ecosystem in Indonesia still in infant stage. So if we discuss this time period, we just want to share. Also, we need some input from the global participant here. Need to be strengthened and linked. Those are government, state-owned enterprise, and private sectors on charging infrastructure, transport operators, EV technology providers, and of course end users and consumers. And need to accelerate. The ecosystem need to accelerate and massive advocacy, such as policy, institutional relation, technical and social environment, that is compliance on readiness for e-mobility and demonstrate the innovative business models for the market adoption. As I mentioned early on, we have a huge territory with 190 million hectares with 5 big islands: Sumatera, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Jawa, Bali, and with the small island, which is 17,504 islands. The project challenges, if you see at the bottom side of this, you may see while we may do some this study called Project Preparation Grant by the year 2020, there is no guideline or regulation for second life cycle EV battery management. No guidelines and regulation for the second-hand market for 4 and 2 wheelers of BEV development. So it would that bring lack of BEV ecosystem and limited charging infrastructures. BEV price and total cost of ownership still more expensive than IC vehicle. Lack of BEV knowledge, awareness, and demonstration as a sample. So the certain cost with an immediate cost of the implementation of the development solution, the production, the significant use of 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers BEVs with significant ecosystem support faces barriers and challenges, and the market penetration is low. So Indonesia still faces large increase in urban fossil fuel powered land transportation, leading to global environmental greenhouse gas emission and local environmental such as air pollution and noise pollution. So the lesson learned from this is we have to analyze of the second life cycle BEV battery investment, the assessment of purchase and trade-in preferential loans, the potential business models to reduce the total cost of ownership of BEV, and need to overview of the second-hand market for 4-wheelers and 2-wheelers of BEV development. In Indonesia, this is very important. The consumers or the end user, before they buy cars or motorcycle, they are thinking about the second market. Perhaps they are boring or they perhaps want to change with the new technology. They're thinking about the second hand market. Yet there's an opportunities. There is a regulation by the presidential by 2019 to accelerate the BEV as part of an overall transition from fossil fuel-based transport sector to a cleaner one. Ministry regulation from Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, number 1, providing the electricity charging station infrastructure for battery-based electric vehicles. So I will discuss detail on this regulation number 1, 2023, or next later on. The Minister Regulation number 3 for the two-wheeler conversion from IC to BEV. The government targeting 50,000 two-wheelers or motorcycle convert from IC to BEV, 50,000 two-wheelers by the end of 2023. Ministry Decree number 182 on acceleration of ecosystem on services tariff on charging station. So on top of the price which is already by the Minister Regulation number 1, there is an additional of so-called service special tariff for services like an abandonment charge for if you have a headphone or cellular. Still, a good of consistent growth of Indonesian economy to 4 to 5% in 2022. I think 2023 is 5.3%, with the GDP around 1,319 billion US dollar, and the population still promising with 270 million people by 2022. And if you already know that Indonesia have a reserve of huge minerals as a source of EV battery, one very important component in EV electric vehicles, and of course the global e-mobility trends, like we are doing this webinar. It could not be avoided. So the global move to electric vehicles would be also being a good impact to Indonesia. What is ENTREV? ENTREV is like Joanna mentioned earlier, is a GF funded projects, a collaboration between Indonesia Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. The implementing agency is the General of Electricity, and the executive agency is United Nations Development Program, UNDP. It's a 4 years project starting February 2023. So we are already 7 months, still 7 months, and will be finished or completed by early on 2027. The funding is 1,816,500 US dollar from the GF. The implementing partner is Directorate General of Electricity under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources of Indonesia. The goals, yes, to support the government of Indonesia and key stakeholders in policy, institutional, and technical readiness to transition towards electric mobility, and to demonstrate innovative business models in transport sector that will lead to greenhouse gas emission reduction. The innovative models is more likely to the infrastructures that the private sector willing to invest on the charging station. So we could expect the direct greenhouse gas emission avoided as a result of the project facilitated, increase in the use of EVs, and the indirect emission of total about 473.8 tons CO2. And the number 2 is increasing volume of investment mobilized and leveraged by GF for low greenhouse gas development of 13.4 million US dollar. And this number of people impacted or beneficiary is aggregated by gender, 80,000 women, and from total about 321,000 people. If you look at these activities, we identify need to interfere production of PV and EV components, development of EV charging and battery swap station, formation of purchase and use of PEV, and the capacity knowledge and information. It could translate into 3 component activity. One is a national market update, is more to the national policy and helping for the infrastructures to grow, especially for charging station, charging infrastructure. And component number 2 is more to the local policy and early market development. We have this program, we have partners with 3 provinces, 3 local government, which is Jakarta, those are DKI Jakarta, province of Bali, and province of West of Java, that promote that promote the demonstrated of BEV and charging infrastructure in those areas. Component number 3 is more to the capacity of key stakeholders, capacity build and knowledge share to the BEV officials, manufacturers, and potential BEV buyers. Those are also disbursement of information from the what has been done on component number 1 and component number 2. We could also could see the outcomes of this those activity into 2. Firstly, product adoption of BEV replication and scaling up on and demonstration of attractive business models. Again, this model is more to the infrastructures of the station. So the private sectors has the willingness to invest on charging station, and behavioral changes in users, increase of demand and use of EV. Currently in Indonesia, using electric vehicles still become a lifestyle and not really a necessary or necessity. But we are moving on to those kind of necessity. Public and private sectors increase investment and decision makers improving enabling condition. Yes, the government has been done part of the government side in terms of policy, but need to be improved with the also with the input from the end user and from the public. This could expect the intermediate impacts of transition toward electric mobility by increase of use of EV. So, and at the top of impact, we could expect reduce of greenhouse gas emission, road transportation, reduce petroleum product consumption, air quality improvement, and local manufacturing, and also the job creation. This is the arrangement of ENTREV project. If you see at the top, very top of the box is we call it project board or steering committee, consists of three box development partner, project executive, and beneficiary representative. Most of the project board or steering committee is from the government or related to government, and UNDP is there. UNDP also as a project assurance. Those are on the oversight roles. The implementation role is head by the Directorate General of Electricity under the Ministry of Energy and Resources as implementing partner. And the very bottom box is a project management unit, consists of project managers, finance and admin assistant. There is component 1, which is more to the national policy and bringing up the charging infrastructure ecosystem. Component number 2 is more to the local policy and demonstration of BEV early market development. Component number 3 is knowledge and product capacity building to disperse all the information and what has been done in component number 1 and component number 2. The current condition of EV infrastructures in Indonesia. By April 2023, there are 842 unit charging stations at 488 public places scattered in over the islands of Indonesia. You may see, but the most of the installations are in the Java Islands. And yet the leadership of the installation of these charging stations still are in the state-owned company. We call it PLN. PLN is a state-owned company. Almost 70 to 80% installation of charging stations are owned by PLN. This is also the mandate of Mr. Degree number 1, PLN taking the lead to install the charging station in Indonesia, and because also PLN have all the branches in 38 provinces of Indonesia. Okay, more detail about regulation, Ministry Regulation number 1, 2023, charging station infrastructure of BEV. For the to sum up, there are three regulation for standard and safety, providing the electricity business, and tariff. So the standard and safety, yes, we have to comply. The charging infrastructures need to comply with the electrical safety from Minister of Energy and Resources, and pass the operation of eligibility. We call it certificate like operasi of charging station from technical inspection body from the minister, and compliance of the product of charging station product by standardization from BSR. BSR is National Standardization of Agency and standard from Ministry of Energy and Resources. Those are for charging station for car and battery swap station facility for motorcycle. The electricity physical provision is more to the permit in the area of gas station. We call it SPBU and SPBG, the shopping area, offices, parking area. All those must be having permit not just for the installation itself, but also the area. Initially, government-owned and the company and taking the lead. PLN have the duty to install the infrastructures and could operate with other state-owned company or other private sectors. The electricity divided into two segregated price of electricity, but so far the government regulate the price tariff on charging station for the car. The maximum tariff is 2,476 something, almost 2,477 per kilowatt hour. And on top of that, there is a service tariff special for fast charging and ultra fast charging. These are we call it the explanation, more details about the utilization of PEV on the CO2 emission reduction and transportation sectors. So we can compare. At the left-hand side is ICE, at the right-hand side is a PEV. We could compare it from the source of energy, CO2 emissions per vehicle, energy costs, energy consumption per vehicle. So the source of energy, the fossil fuel is used for this country still 70% imported. And the electricity sources from the power plant, from domestic power plant, so 100% from domestic. If you see the calculation of CO2 emissions is less CO2 emitted by the BEV by the electric vehicle. The interesting part is if you look at the bottom side of the presentation of this chart is energy cost. If you calculate it per month with the assumptions of 1,350 kilometers, we could spend for ICE for 1,625,000 rupiah per month, while the energy cost from electric vehicles is only for 725 rupiah per month. So almost 1/4 the comparison. ENTREV involvement on year 2023, yet we have just 7 months running. We have to adopt also with the ecosystem. We have to adopt of the regulation, but we also involved already on the ministerial discussion, focused discussion, especially by the Directorate General of Electricity, which implementation on the charging tariff number 1, 2023, and also prepare for the ministerial decree on the acceleration of charging station by implement a special tariff, additional tariff for fast charging and ultra fast charging. We are now ongoing, still build the single gateway for monitoring and evaluation BEV. This is simply to have a solid pictures of where is the installation of charging stations. Also need to calculate with the energy balance of electricity. Number 2, we are already delivering two-wheeler conversion kit and training for 7 vocational schools at West of Java, and will be duplicated into other two regions in DKI Jakarta and also in Bali. We are very active on advocating regional policies to govern of Jakarta, Bali, and West of Java, as well as building the nationwide policy through the Directorate General of Regional Development of Home Affairs Ministry. This is very important key that in the local government in 38 provinces of Indonesia, we have to look at the Ministry of Home Affairs, which all the regulation is we call it is based on the Ministry of Home Affairs regulation. So this is also the interesting part, the challenging part of activity doing the advocacy. And ENTREV activity component 3, we are active on this two-wheeler conversion from IC to BEV. We already developed a curriculum for vocational school. We involved on the analysis risk of conversion from ICE to BEV, training for the workshop to convert from ICE to BEV. We signing MOU safeguarding the environmental compliance with leading charging station Indonesia, Photon and Autonomous Charge Plus. These are private sectors that could lead follow the lead of PLN, which already installed 70% of charging station in Indonesia. Ongoing engagement with the government partner, PT PLN is a government-owned company, Grab Indonesia, West Java Province, Directorate General of New Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation, the other key stakeholders in Indonesia, also with the Association of Charging Station and Business Providers, Association of EV two-wheelers and four-wheelers manufacturers, and all of the project board members. This is the interesting part, discussion point. This is roadmap by PLN. It's very, very optimistic, and we are toward and support PLN as the electricity provider for this country. This PLN is what we call it's the heart of the Indonesia, because they have most of the electricity power plant is owned by PLN. If you may see by the 2030, by the roadmap of PLN, is about 2 million of cars will be there in the market, and 14 million motorcycle will be in the market. So this is very interesting numbers predicted by PLN. PLN has to be prepared for the energy balance and what they have to prepare the electricity on the market. This is we are running this program. We have a roadmap with the methodology of so-called modified flow refueling location models. Is more approach to the gas station which is already installed in Indonesia. So this is the model in Jakarta. Is developed by Bappenas. Bappenas is Ministry of Plan and Development for province of Jakarta. With all the parameters, how the traffic flows and how the waiting times and the disbursement of the charging station. We could duplicate into different region of Indonesia, especially in other side of Indonesia. So we could have the prediction, the roadmap, how the infrastructures will grow and how we prepare for the electricity imbalance to provide the services. And this is also our things to discuss is about the EV supply chains. Yes, we are in the euphoria now for EV, but then there is a risk of some. We identify there are 7 risks, especially for battery disposal, and also from the extracting material at the very upstream side to the very downstream side. Here we also need participation or input from other stakeholders to prepare in advance the potential risk during implementation of the projects, and also after the projects. What we see the potential of using battery, how we use this battery as a second life battery, or reuse, recycle, whatever, or dispose of the battery. So we could expect this as my presentation. So it's like a UN terms or UN terms is healthy planet, healthy peoples. Thank you very much for the times. I suppose not taking your much time for this. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Eko, for taking the time to present these really interesting insights from Indonesia. So I'm aware we are running out of the official half an hour of this webinar, but I think all of us, I mean, Eko and myself, were able to stay a bit longer. So in case you have any questions, please do. This is your opportunity to ask. Please share your questions in the Q&A box or through the Q&A button, sorry, at the bottom of your screen. And I see one question from Faila Sufa. So, there's 3 questions actually. So how does the increase in EV adoption align with the use of sustainable energy, for example, the use of solar PV? So that's one question. Should I go through the? I'll ask the three, and you can then answer all of them at one go. And how to coordinate EV adoption, as this EV adoption involves multiple institutions such as PLN, Ministry of Transport, local government, private sectors, and how to monitor the performance of each institution by CMMIA. Actually, this abbreviation is not familiar to me, but
I know that.
You're aware. Yes, perfect. And then finally, a third question is, earlier it was explained that the land transportation is one of the largest contributors to emissions in Indonesia. Are there any specific modes of transportation prioritized for EV adoption to accelerate its implementation? If so, how is the government providing support for this endeavor? So any specific modes of transportation that are prioritized? There's more questions coming in, so but let's start with these. Let's see if we get through all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks so much for the question. As the EV in line with the solar PV, I think the first question. Yes, there's a challenge. I mean, there's a discussion on the ministry how we could make a so-called like pilot project solar system, not just for EV. Actually, this is a good idea. We are on the going process with the Director General of New and Renewable Energy and Conservation to have one pilot project for motorcycle with complete charging station with the photovoltaic. So this is one of the mandate of the project, that at least we have one pilot project and should we have running in active operationally, so could be duplicate to other installation. But yet there is no so far EV using PV in this country. We are maybe take a leadership to make a sample of this. Number two of the how we could arrange multiple arrangement with the other government agency and private sectors, and what you told as at CMI, coordinating minister for maritime investment affairs. Yes, those are our stakeholders. Those are our project board. If you see at the taxonomy of our projects, all those are in the project board. So we have at least one meeting of project board meeting. So we coordinate the policy with using these tools, this agency, and also we have a different cluster of discussion with them. Yes, of course, those policy need to be in line with all of the ministry. So again, we have those facility with the project board meeting. And about the land transportation, maybe what the question is about specific mode. Yeah, other than two-wheelers and four-wheelers, currently we are not covering that. Perhaps he's talking about the public transportation or whatever. But so far we only covering two-wheelers and four-wheeler land transportation. No specific. There's simply four-wheeler and two-wheelers. Perhaps in the when the project running, we could have idea of other kind of mode of transportation. Terus aku answer.
Thank you, Eko, for those. So let's take questions from two more persons here. So there is Rifki from ITDP Indonesia, who thanks you for the presentation, and he's asking two separate questions. So how does the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources ease the process of obtaining IUPTL, which I understand is a electric business supply license for public use in Indonesia, as an enabling factor for establishing public charging infrastructure? So how does it ease the process of obtaining these licenses? And the second question is, are there incentives for public charging infrastructure development called SPKLU, which I understand is for the public charging infrastructure, and grid and charging connection already in place? So incentives for this. This incentive is stated in the Presidential Regulation 55 from 2019, but industry players still complain about high investment costs in this regard. So that's one question from, or the two questions from Rifki. And then we have Alvin Mejia, who's asking whether you could share some insights regarding the feasibility of the conversion at a large scale. So considering relatively cheap new electric two-wheelers. So
Okay.
conversion is the question there. Thanks.
Okay, maybe question number one is how the ministry is the processing. Yes, that's actually one factor. That's why we are now in the creation of so-called like a single gateway, a single gateway of EV, actually interpreting the Ministerial Regulation number 1 2023. So we could make this process more easier through online. So so the business business in the private sector could apply for permit UPTL online, and this one of the enabling factors could ease the regulation. Yes, because currently the process still manual, so you have to back and forth bring the documents. But we hope by the end of this year, the online system already in place, so could ease the process of permit. Also, number one. Number two, yes, incentive is already in place by the so-called as Menteri ministerial decree on top of the current price of 2,466. There is a 25,000 rupiah on top of the price for fast charging, and for 57 million 57,000 rupiah for the ultra fast charging. Yeah, about the if they complain about the investment cost is perhaps need to discuss with the PLN because PLN have a different regulation of how you could connect to the grid. So this could be discussed on with PLN. We also having this as so-called if we have a routine meeting with PRN, because PRN is in the ecosystem. We are supporting PRN to increase the use of BEV. So perhaps Pak Rifki could come to the ecosystem and we discuss about how to make everything easy for you to invest on charging infrastructures. What we call it here in Indonesia, SPKLU. I think those other question.
Well, thank you, Eko. Well, actually, I see we still have quite a lot of attendees, so maybe we can take one final question before closing. So a very short one. So the goal was to have 2 million EV cars and 40 million EV motorcycles or two-wheelers in Indonesia by 2030. Do you know what percentage of the total vehicle fleet that would be? Like, what is the background growth rate of the ICE vehicles? Would they be growing even faster?
We have been discussing it with several manufacturers in Indonesia, from China, from Korea, from Japan. Yes, some of them so optimistic, and some of them see we could be realistic, because from 2022 to 2023, yes, it's a very huge increase, about 2%. From the statistic, 3 years behind is only 0.47%, not even 1%. The growth of EV compared to ICE vehicles, but during 2022 to 2023 is almost 2%. So from this model, so all the EV manufacturers predicted about 7 to 8% will be growth by 2030. Yes, of course the projection may differ, but then it depend on all the stakeholders. The government here doing ever government can, as at least easing the tax and also it's more actually to the business to be more creative in terms of reducing the total cost of ownership, so people more cheap to buy the BEV. Like for instance, for the motorcycle now already there is a rental company for battery, so the total component of battery could be taken out and replaced with the rental. We still have the gap between the operation cost with the fossil fuel and the battery, and these numbers could contribute for the rental of battery. So is depend on us on how to be creative to reduce so-called like the battery price, which is very important.
All right. Well, thank you. I think we need to start wrapping up since we're 10 minutes past our time, but there was a lot of interest in this topic clearly. So thank you so much, Eiko, for sharing your insights with us. And thank you everyone attending for taking the time to join this call. So as I mentioned in the beginning, next week we will continue with 2 online events under the e-mobility platform. So on Wednesday, the 4th of October, we'll have a webinar on EV policy framework. And on Thursday, the 5th of October, we'll have an online workshop by IEA, supported by IEA, discussing the tool of total cost of ownership that IEA has developed for EV assessment. So the links for registration have been reshared in the chat, so you can easily click on those and register to the Zoom events for next week as well. And again, thank you, Eiko, so much for sharing about this project with us. It was very, very interesting for us to hear. And yeah, I wish everyone a very excellent rest of the day. Thank you for joining.
Thanks so much, Anna, Michelle. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.